Hello, everyone. It's a Church Solutions podcast, episode number 379. Seems like we've been in the 370s for the last 2 weeks.
The last
Yeah,
eight
stuck in the
episodes.
70s. I'm gonna have to get my bell bottoms out and my big lapel suit and anyway.
I
Yeah.
like the long collars and the silk shirts was my
Yeah.
thing,
Oh
man.
yeah. Some gold chains and a big medallion. Oh yeah. 70s baby.
Somebody posted a picture of me. I did a wedding, 40 some years ago, and somebody posted something on Facebook. I'm surprised the couple's still together. and I had that kind of a suit on. I had the collars and everything, and yeah, I looked like I was in the 70s
I
because I
like
was.
your reference there, Mike. I heard the "Oh yeah, baby," or what is it? "Oh yeah, baby."
All right. Well,
Yeah.
so much for the 1970s. Welcome, everyone. We're glad you're here to our Church Solutions podcast. My name is Phil Thompson.
I have Steve Lacy.
I'm Michael Gray.
All right. Well, the three of us are here again, the human version of the Trinity here. And will that offend somebody? It probably will. So, look, it's after
Guess
Easter.
what spot?
Yeah. So, look, it's after
It's
Easter.
more like the Three Stooges.
All right. So, by the way, we did an excellent webinar. So our company is starting to do webinars every month. We've done webinars for years, but not every month. So we did what I thought was an excellent webinar. I think we all agree to that. And it was on Chat GPT. We just did this yesterday, and it was on AI, Chat GPT. Kenny Jong was our guest, and it's a great webinar, and he goes through a lot of material in 30 minutes, and then there's about 25 minutes of Q&A, and that is available now. How can people get this recorded version, Michael? Did somebody tell me how to get the webinar?
Streamingchurch.tv/webinar.
So it's there? It's actually
The
on
recording
there now?
is there, yes.
Okay, that's right. It is. You did that. So
That was yesterday.
streamingchurch.tv/webinar, and you can watch that for free.
Yeah.
It's really I
Yeah.
thought it was really good. And if you're
Kenny
interested,
went over how to use the Chat GPT and AI in your live streaming.
Yeah, some
Yeah.
cool examples. Really
Yeah.
cool examples.
yeah, it was specifically live streaming, but there's more to it, and he touched on some of that later. So you can use. So anyhow, regardless of what your opinion is on Chat GPT or this AI stuff going on, I'd encourage you to watch this webinar and see what you think about it. We were amazed. So anyhow, we got another webinar coming up, which will be May 16th, and I don't think we have. Can people sign up for that now, or they got to wait? Maybe by the time this is done.
Maybe by tomorrow.
Okay,
We're getting darn close.
so we got a
Which-
webinar. Go ahead, Steve. What were you
Yeah,
gonna
we're
say?
recording this on Wednesday, the 12th. So yes, by the time it airs though, you probably
Okay.
can sign up.
All right.
Webinar.streamingchurch.tv.
Yeah, and that webinar is going to be on what? What's the title? We again are just going over these titles. This is a zoo in here, but go ahead. Somebody tell me the title, the current title that we have until we change it
Why should I choose a software encoder like vMix?
again. And we have a special guest from vMix. Heath Barker is going to be, and trust me, folks, this was hard to do because he's like 17 hours ahead of us, and so because they're in Australia. So anyhow, if you're interested in software encoders for streaming and vMix specifically, it's not a vMix commercial, but we will have him talk about vMix and some of the features they have, as well as software encoders. So that's going to be May 16th. So mark your calendars for that, or just go and sign up at whatever that was, webinar.streamingchurch.tv. So, all right, enough business for now. So Easter's over, and we have a blog.
Is it?
Well,
Did I miss it?
some religions celebrate Easter. Is it next week?
Greek Orthodox
I
this
don't know.
weekend. This weekend coming
Yeah.
up.
So if you're Greek Orthodox like I am, I'm not. I'm just kidding. But if you're Greek Orthodox or some other Orthodox, yeah, Easter's still coming up. So so it is over. Did any of us go to any? Never mind. So what we thought we'd talk about today. Did you actually go to an Easter service, Mike? You
I
didn't go.
did.
You did? Where'd you go?
I got an early start and went on Saturday.
Oh, that's right.
So did I. I was
The
there with
actual
him.
Sabbath on Saturday.
you go to that church that does things on Saturdays. Yeah. Okay. You're a Seventh Day Adventist, right? So,
No, not quite, but yeah.
all right. Look, we're talking about what now. So, or now what, I guess is what it is. Easter is over. So the blog.streamingchurch.tv, in case you don't have enough domains to memorize. Easter is over. Now what? So we thought we'd talk a little bit about Easter and what happens after Easter. And look, and all of us know this, that, Easter is kind of like we work hard to have a great Easter presentation. And hopefully everybody, listening here, your service went well and everything went well. But then usually in typical fashion, many times after Easter, there's this letdown, right? Because, okay, you had the big Easter shindig and now it's over and everybody's tired. And then usually, in some cases, not all cases, but in many cases, the next service you have, attendance is usually lower and the energy may not be as high. So we thought we would talk a little bit about what you do now after the Easter service. Does that sound like a plan, guys?
Yes.
Sounds like
Okay.
a plan.
Glad to hear that. So you had a lot of momentum working up to Easter. How do you keep the church momentum going? So I've got 4 ideas here, and we may do more than 4. And I tried to, I don't know who does this. I don't know if I got this from Jeff Love or from Rick Warren, but I tried to kind of make these 4 points rhyme or something, I guess. I don't know. This is kind of dumb, but it works. It works until the last one. The last one's a little weird, but we'll get into that.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for that. So the first point is, what do you do now? So the first point I would suggest, and I'll see if you gentlemen agree with me, is evaluation. That's the first point. So after the Easter service, evaluation. You should be doing that right now, if not sooner. The best time to plan for the next Easter service is right after Easter. And so, you want to do that because the experience is still fresh in your mind, and the things that went well and the things that didn't go well and all those things. Maybe do a debriefing with your staff, with your volunteers, right?
Yes. I mean, it could be the postmortem or the post game,
Postmortem.
Yeah. What went well?
What didn't go so well?
What
Yeah.
bombed?
Yeah. I did this with the church, and they thought I was from Mars when I said, we need to do a debriefing. And I was like, what do we do that for? But yeah, so you really need to think about how it went, what went well, what didn't go well. And you can use that, take your notes and use that. And by the way, take notes and put them somewhere where you know where they're at. I don't know, Google Docs or somewhere. Because when the next time rolls around, you're getting ready for the next Easter service, and you can do this for anything, right? Christmas or whatever, have those notes around so you can look at them, because somebody will say, well, what did we do last year? I don't remember. And did that go well? Well, I don't know. Somebody said it went well. Somebody said it didn't. So,
And if you didn't write it down, there's no way you know we need to make sure that the staff parks off site and we run a shuttle, or because then you'll go, oh my gosh, we did this last year and we're repeating our mistakes.
Yeah, exactly.
Or whatever it may be.
So evaluate the church's Easter experience. That includes your service times, your order of worship. How did that go? Your parking, as you mentioned, Steve, your guest reception. How was the response to the message? How was the follow-up, which we'll get to in a moment. Decide what you want to keep. Decide what you don't want to keep. Decide what you want to add. Subtract, add, whatever. So all that stuff is real important. You really need to do that. And you're talking to some guys right now that have been in on this, and we know how important this all is. So I encourage you to do that. Yeah, it takes time. You're tired, but you should still do it.
Yeah, I can't tell you how frustrating it is to get to next Easter and make the same dumb mistakes you did last Easter because you didn't write it down and talk to the team about it.
Yeah.
It's like, we did that badly last year.
Yeah, I'm
We
probably
failed
going to get the
again.
same person that came that one Easter last year. They come again this time, and they go, oh my gosh, they did that again.
Yeah, it's the one time a year they come to church, Christmas and Easter, Creasters, and you bombed again. Oh, these guys got to get their act together. They
Yeah,
can't
Did
even
you,
run a good Easter service.
did you guys see the Babylon Bee posting about Creasters? They
I
said,
didn't.
oh, it was just, they said, those that attended Easter are amazed how different the church looks without the Christmas decorations.
that's pretty good. That is good. They're funny. All right, so evaluation. That's the first point you want to do here now after Easter is over. The next point is connection. So evaluation, connection. Get the TION at the end. So this is really important. Follow up. Follow up with your Easter attenders immediately. You need to do this as soon as possible and help them take their next spiritual steps. As Mike just alluded to here, Easter sometimes is more of a cultural holiday like Christmas. It comes and it goes, but you should really assume that many people do come to your church on Easter Sunday because they do care about their spiritual lives. They care about their family's spiritual lives, their kids' spiritual lives. And so you want to help your church help people grow spiritually by connecting with them. And really, it's best to do this as soon as possible while it's fresh on their mind. And so I know that there's people out there and that will say, well, if people want to come back to this church, they'll come back. If God wants them to come back, they'll come back. And, there may be some truth to that. But I just think with so much competition out there today, competing for people's times, competing for people's weekends, there's all sorts of stuff out there, right?
And I think you want to design your service, your Easter service, so that it makes it easier for these connections. Plan things in so that it makes it more natural to follow up with them. It may be, we're going to talk about promotion and follow-up kind of things, but just, when they come, this is your one opportunity. If they got that guy that came on Christmas and now they're coming on Easter, you want to make sure that the service is set up so that it's promoting what's going on for the next service and or opportunities to get connected and get involved and kind of design your service so that there's a natural follow-up process for it.
Yeah, I would say, and Mike, feel free to jump in here, but you don't want to bug people. I mean, we all know we work with different companies out there, and we'll just get email after email after email after email, wanting us to do something. And I'm not saying you do that. But you do want to reach out to people at least a couple times or more, space it out a little bit, reach out to them, connect with them as much as, at least show that you're open and that you would love to have them come back, would love to address a need that they might have, a prayer request. It's always good to put, hey, thanks for coming. Do you have a prayer request? We would love to pray for you. We will be confidential in it. Don't worry. But we would be happy to try to help you any way that we can. That's all part of connecting with people.
Yeah.
And you need to be intentional. In my opinion, you've got to be intentional and just not just hope that they come back. I don't know. I mean,
yeah, if you don't have a plan, you're planning to fail. And we were pretty big on it. And I saw that they are continuing to do that. They were doing, my home church is doing a 2-week delayed big family event gathering, free food, jumping castles, all the bells and whistles of a good time for a family. And so they made that invite on Easter, but if you didn't make that invite, you can contact everybody after the fact if you have a connection card and gathered information. And then you can say, hey, come check this out. It's going to be awesome. You're not going to want to miss this.
Right. So I was kind of talking about making it easy to form those connections. You're like, wow, we got this going on. And it's going to be just in 2 weeks. And your kids that came, this is going to be a blast. Yeah.
Yeah. I just think it's so important to do that. I can think of only really, I'm sure there's other churches out there, but I remember there was a church that started here in the, I guess it was the mid-'80s, Calvary Chapel of Tucson, and great people over there. But they started small. I don't know what they did. I don't think they did anything. But they had a lot of youth. They had a lot of young people involved right away. and they use the radio station I work for a lot of advertising and promotion there. And that's probably all they did. They're the only church I know of that really didn't do much and still grew. And I think the chemistry was there. I just think the right pastor was there, the age was there, the youth group was there, the young people, that worked. But for most of us that do church work, we have to reach out and we have to make some effort to connect with people. And I just think it's so important to do that. So you want to have evaluation after your Easter service. Honestly, I think you should have evaluation every week on whatever it is you're doing, in my opinion.
Yep.
Even if it's not a special holiday. And then connection, especially for Easter. You want to connect with these people. All right, shall we move on? Have we beaten this one?
Beat it thoroughly.
All right. So the next one is promotion, right? So notice the pattern.
Hit on it already.
Yeah, well, you did, but that's okay. The pattern here: evaluation, connection, promotion. So you do want to invite people to upcoming sermon series you've got coming up. You want to get your church out there in social media. Yes, I mention it again. Social media. Your website needs to be up to date. So maybe you did a great job.
Yeah.
Right. Am I right? You find.
Let's go back. It hasn't been updated since the 70s, since we were talking about the 70s earlier.
Well, maybe you did a good job getting your Easter stuff out there on the website. You worked hard. You got the Easter promotion out there. Hey, Easter, come see us. We got 2 services. But then you forget about it. And then next week, Easter's still up there.
We're all just falling down and tired and wore out and say, okay, we're done until next Easter. Nope, not done.
And we're in the business here. We do streaming video and other things, and we all here in this Zoom call, in this podcast, we've all been to some churches' websites, and they've got material that's been up there for like a year or two. It's dated. And you're like, oh man, how can you do this? I mean.
Well, first of all, I try to avoid putting that kind of content on the website in the first place, unless it's a calendar or something like that moves forward. Dated material, you can kind of hide that behind the scenes and not even link to it and say, okay, all you social media people, click here to get more information about this event.
Yeah, but don't you want to put something big like Easter or Christmas? Don't you want to have something on the website that says, Easter is coming up? I don't know. Maybe
it's kind of a flip of a coin in that, where do you want to drive that traffic to? And do you want it on your homepage to distract from your regular visitors coming to the page, et cetera? That it's definitely what's your strategy? Build it around your strategy, and it may or may not be a fit for you.
Well, that's a key word, strategy, right? Many, I don't want to say most, but many ministries don't have much of a strategy, especially when it comes to, promoting what they're trying to do.
Right.
And so promotion, promote what you've got going on. This is, again, go ahead.
Sorry, Phil. Go ahead, Steve. Bill,
I'm just, another way to put this is, give them an excuse to come back is kind of what this is all about. Yes. People are coming to church. Let's make sure that you have some excuse for them to come back. So whatever that may be, jumping castles or whatever, whatever the thing that may be the promotion opportunity for the next time, just create something during the Easter service or something that's on the sidelines of the Easter service that's very visible, that people see when they're there, that something's going to happen here. It's, it's not just once, twice a year. Something's going on all the time, and you can be a part of it. And this is something you don't want to miss out on.
Another big weekend that follows Easter that has really begun to take some more take on some more momentum is Mother's Day. Churches have discovered that if a mom asks, their kids most likely will come to church with them on Mother's Day. And so it's another one that you could begin to market and say, hey, listen, I'm so glad you came to Easter. You are not going to believe what we're going to do for Mother's Day. You're not going to want to miss it. You're going to want to be here. Moms, you are so going to want to be here, and you're going to want to invite all of your family to this great Mother's Day event that we have coming up.
Yeah.
That's a good point. And the same for Father's Day. Not.
No, that's the opposite.
That's the opposite.
It's the reverse. Fathers choose to do other things on Father's Day versus church. And I'm not dogging all guys, but a lot of guys, the tendency is that for our church, that was the lowest weekend of the year was Father's Day. So we knew that and planned around it to try to counterbalance that. But
so what do you do with that? I mean, that was the same. I've experienced that the same. So do you just go with the flow and go, it's going to be a small Sunday, or it's going to be a low turnout, or do you try to beef it up? I mean, are you going against the grain by trying to beef it up because you know it's Father's Day and most of these guys want to go fishing?
We did successfully. I don't know if you remember or if it was in your framework, Phil, but we did at the movies then. We launched at the movies at Father's Day every year.
Right.
And guess what? Dads like to go to movies, and they're into it. And so because of that, we shifted our lowest weekend of the year back to one of our biggest weekends of the year with that at the movies, drawing dad in and talking about, Star Wars or, whatever it was that was really going to hook them in and get them to come with the family and enjoy a fun experience.
I forgot all about that. That's a very good point. And in case people listening to this podcast don't know what we're talking about, and this has been going on for a long time. A lot of churches are doing this now, but in case you don't know, at the movies is something. I don't know if Life Church started this. Actually, I'm not sure they did. Well, a friend of mine said that their church was doing it in the 90s. But anyhow, long story short, you're taking clips. You're usually taking movie clips, and you're running a clip, and then you're how you might normally take a scripture and expound on that scripture. You take a movie clip, and then you kind of expound on the movie clip where there's a biblical background or something you can tie into it that has a message. That's my best way to explain it, which is probably poor, but
From that has developed a couple websites that will actually give you biblical paradigms based on specific clips. So you're saying, how do we deal with anger? There's a list of clips from movies that says, here's what the Bible says about dealing with anger.
That's right. Yeah, that is good. Yeah. So, all right. So anyhow, but so you can get creative, whatever low Sunday you might be having or whatever, you can get creative here, as Mike just brought up, and probably bring it up. All right. So we're running out of time here. Unbelievable. But so we've gone through evaluation after Easter, connection after Easter, promotion. And here's the next one, gratification.
So we want to thank all the people who made Easter happen.
Well, that's what could you probably change that to appreciation?
Oh, let me make the edit. I can make the edit on the blog right now.
Yes, you can.
Gratification.
Yes. Appreciation.
That's actually good. So I use the word gratification, and before we did this podcast, we were all like, "Is that a word? Is that what context is that in?" But evaluation, connection, promotion, appreciation. So the bottom line here, as we wrap up, is don't forget to thank all the people that helped make your Easter weekend happen. And we're talking many of the people behind the scenes, right? The people that helped with ushering and parking, maybe, and helping families find the bathrooms, and with the kids ministry, because usually Easter, is usually pretty big turnout for children. And so you got a lot of people, right? If you had snacks or something, if you had different things going on, really take some time to show appreciation to those people because they deserve it. And they're the ones that make things happen. So, you can do that lots of ways. I mean, you can do it in emails. You can do it personal thank you notes are always good. You can even write a blog about it. So I would try to make it personal. I don't know if I put this in the blog that I wrote, but when you express your gratification or appreciation, try to get as personal as you can with the people that helped. A little note or a little thank you note will make a big difference in somebody's life. And chances are they'll be around next year to help you with your next event.
Yeah. There's my sister-in-law had a great idea a few weeks ago, and it was just had to do right along these lines about expressing appreciation for actually her husband, which is my brother, he's been having a really rough time as a serious illness. And she said, don't call him, don't text him, send him a card or write him a letter. And so she wanted me to gather up friends and family to give the sneak instructions to send a card or a letter. And it means so much more, I think, just having a personal letter. And he went and reciprocated on me and sent me a letter. I haven't gotten a letter in the mail in I don't know how long. But a personal note is always an added touch.
Yeah, and we talk so much about digital stuff, but people still read their mail. I mean, if they still get mail, and they will read it if it's personal. So maybe not read all their mail, but if it's personal, they'll get it. So a personal letter or personal card would be very helpful. All right, good. We're done. We hope you had a great Easter. We hope everybody had a good Easter. And we hope that you are able to follow up with some of these things and help these new people connect. And even some people that maybe have been around for a while, help them go a little deeper in their walk with God and their spiritual walk. And that's kind of what we try to do here. We're a tech company, but we have all been involved in ministry. So we really want to help everybody in different aspects of ministry because we've had experience in it. So we appreciate your time today. And look, subscribe to the Church Solutions podcast if you have not subscribed. Give us a rating, and you'll never miss one. And if we can help you in any way, please reach out to us. support@streamingchurch.tv. On behalf of Steve Lacy and Michael Gray here, I'm Phil Thompson. Have yourself a great day.